Get ready for chess brilliance. Like the video and subscribe to stay updated. Pawn to c4.
Control of the centre with e6, preparing to develop other pieces and potentially creating space for the bishop on c4.
Knight f3.
This is a book move. The opening is called English opening, Agincourt Defense.
Pawn to g3 is excellent. Pawn to d4 is best.
Pawn to d4 is the best move.
Bishop to g2 is the best move.
Pawn captures on c4.
Bishop to g2 is best. This defends a rook on hone. This develops a bishop. This fianchettos the bishop by putting it on a powerful diagonal.
Pawn to c5.
Castling kingside to connect rooks, control centre, and prepare for potential pawn breaks in the queenside.
Knight to c6.
Queen to f4 pins the knight on b7, preparing to develop the rest of the queenside pieces and putting pressure on black's position.
Preparing to develop the queenside pieces and support the central pawn structure, bishop to d7 also pins the knight on g4, making it difficult for black to attack the kingside.
Queen captures on c4 is best. This defends a pawn on e2. This captures a free pawn.
Pawn captures on d4.
Knight catches on d4.
I played rook to c8 to prepare for the potential pawn storm on the queenside, pinning the black knight on pawn to c6 and supporting the central pawns. This move also helps to control the d-file and prepares for potential counterplay in the queenside.
Knight to c3 is best. This develops a knight.
I played knight captures on d4 to challenge black's pawn structure and create a potential weakness on the d-file, while also putting pressure on the pawn to d5 pawn and preparing to develop other pieces.
Queen captures on d4 is the best move.
Bishop to c5 is best. This defends a pawn on a7. This attacks the queen. This develops a bishop.
Attacking the kingside pawn structure, pinning the knight on g4 and preparing to launch a potential kingside attack. This move is a key part of the Agincourt defense, aiming to challenge black's control of the kingside.
Pawn to h6.
Bishop captures on b7.
Rook to b8 is best. This attacks the bishop. By placing the rook on an open file, it controls important columns. This move gains a tempo.
Bishop to f3.
Rook to b4.
Queen to h3.
Pawn to e5.
Queen to g2 is best.
Queen to c8 is excellent. This defends a bishop on c5. Kingside castle is best.
Rook to d1 is a solid move, supporting the central pawn structure and preparing to develop the rest of the pieces. It also slightly weakens the kingside, but this is mitigated by the presence of the pawns on pawn to c4 and e6.
Kingside castle.
Pawn to f3.
Bishop to h3 is the best move.
I played pawn to g4 to challenge black's pawn structure and create space for my pieces to develop. The move also pins black's knight on g4, putting pressure on their position and preparing for potential pawn breaks on the kingside.
Rook to b6 is the best move.
I played knight to e4 to attack black's pawn on e6, creating a potential pin on the knight, while also preparing to develop the rest of my pieces. This move also puts pressure on black's position, making it difficult for them to defend against my subsequent attacks.
Knight captures on f2 is the best move.
Knight captures on c5 is a strong move, attacking black's knight and gaining control of the pawn to d5 square. It also prepares to develop the queenside pieces and puts pressure on black's position.
Queen captures on c5 is good. This pins a piece of the opponent to the king. Rook to g6 is best.
I played rook captures on d7 to take advantage of the weakness on d7, pinning the knight on pawn to d5 and preparing to launch a pawn storm on the queenside. This move also puts pressure on black's position, making it difficult for them to defend.
Rook to g6 is best. This defends a knight on g4.
Bishop captures on g4.
Attacking the kingside pawn structure, pawn to h5 creates a weakness on the kingside and prepares to potentially push d5, putting pressure on black's position.
Bishop to e3 is a solid move, supporting the central pawn and preparing to develop the rest of the pieces. It also pins the knight on d5, making it difficult for black to play, and c4.
Queen to c2 is good. This attacks the pawn. Queen to b5 is best. This attacks the pawn.
I played rook to d2 to prepare for the potential pawn storm on the queenside, putting pressure on black's position and forcing them to respond to the threat of a potential queenside expansion. This move also helps to support the central pawns and prepares for potential counterplay on the kingside.
Queen to a4 is good. This defends a pawn on a7. Queen to c4 is best.
King to h1.
Rook captures on g4.
Queen to d5 is the best move.
Attacking the kingside pawn structure, pawn to h4 aims to challenge black's kingside pawns and create space for the pieces to maneuver. It also prepares to potentially push pawn to d5 and create a passed pawn on the kingside.
Pawn to h3 is the best move.
Rook to g6 is best.
Rook to g1 is a prophylactic move to prevent black's potential counterplay on the king side, specifically targeting the pawn on f5. It also prepares to potentially push pawn to d4 and further control the centre.
Rook captures on g1 check.
King captures on g1.
Rook to c8 is the best move.
Queen captures on e5 is good. This captures a free pawn. King to h2 is best. This defends a pawn on h3. By moving the king off the back rank, the risk of back rank mate threats is reduced and improves the king's safety.
Queen to c6.
King to h2. The game is over. White wins.